Hi there, I'm Janice from Resource Depot. I'm a teaching artist and often can work and do things with boys and girls out in the aftercare programs and at school. So I'm glad to come to you today, and I'm glad you sought us out and are joining in with our project. Today we're going to make a milk jug necklace. And a milk jug or a water jug, whichever you have at home, are these things. Maybe you have some that aren't quite empty, and maybe if you emptied them, you already put them into your blue bin, because that's where they go. Recycle them into your blue bin. But if you would like to create a project with them, save them, wash them out, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So we're going to use our milk jug or water jug, whatever you have. We need some embroidery floss. With embroidery floss, is kind of a thin string. It's thinner than yarn, and you probably could use yarn too, but a thin yarn. It would have to be a thinner kind of yarn or string. So we're going to use some string. See, it kind of looks like this, and some of it might even be a little thinner. And it comes in all different colors. And what you do, if you don't know what embroidery is where you sew on a piece of fabric. And it usually is in a frame. I should have brought a frame to show you, but you can put the material onto it's usually a circle, and you put it into that, and you close it on and make it tight, and then you just sew on it. You can make a picture, a design, and use colored thread, and that's called embroidery. A lot of times you might see it maybe on a pillowcase, or especially years ago, people did that all the time on pillowcases and different aprons and different things. So you might see it at antique stores or somewhere. Maybe your grandma or your great-grandma has some of those at her house, decorating her house. So that's what we're going to use today, is our embroidery floss. So you also need some scissors, and you might want to get a bottle cap, maybe something like this. This bottle cap is a little over an inch in size, and I guess that's about all you need. Okay, well, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is cut out our milk jug here. And first you can take a pair of scissors, and really you probably can just, if you have a pointy pair, just kind of push it into the milk container and then cut. And I'm gonna use bigger scissors. And if you have someone, if you're a younger boy or girl and you need a little help from an adult, that would be a great thing. You know, maybe ask them to help you cut this out. But I'm just gonna cut out some pieces of this water jug. So we can work with it. And it does have, on this one side, you see the circle. I think that's on most of them, and it's a little bit bigger. Maybe if you would like to make one that's just a one piece, just a one necklace, we're gonna cut 3 circles, and that's how we're gonna make our necklace. But this one, if you just wanted to do one, that one might be a good size. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take our cap. I have a permanent marker here. You can use regular markers, but if you do, then be careful, because they do smear. And that's why I'm just using a yellow, so we don't see it too much. And I'm going to cut around it. I'm going to make 3 circles. And if you're good at cutting circles and don't even want to draw it, you could. They don't have to be perfect. But I thought, since we're making a necklace, that maybe they should be pretty nice circles. Okay, so I'll have circles there. Next thing we'll do is cut around them. Three circles here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut little slits into these circles. And I kind of picture it like a clock. So if you picture the clock like at the top and the bottom, like 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, you're going to cut slits at 12, 3, 6, and 9. And then after that, you're going to cut 2 slits That doesn't really matter in this one. We're gonna cut, let's just cut one slit in the middle of each one of those cuts then. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our embroidery floss, and I have two colors. I chose 2 shades of blue. All right, and you take an end. You really don't have to cut it, so that way you know how much don't really know for sure how much you're going to use. So you just start it and let an end hang down. When you cut yours, you're going to feel that there's a rough side to the plastic that we cut. One side is rough and one side is smooth. So you might want to decide which side you want to be on the front. It really doesn't matter because you're going to have the floss is going to be going back and forth over the top. But I'm going to make it so that the rougher side is out. That's what you can see. Okay, so so the bottom side is where you want your string to start. Okay, and then you're just going to put your string in one of the little slits and take it across to the other side and put it in that slit, and then you can bring it up and put it into another slit and down into the other slits, and you're just going to keep wrapping it around and putting it in the slits. There's no specific one that you have to go into, and then once you've done them, you can go into one and then go into a different slot, and it'll make a different design for you. See, it didn't follow the same line. Now it's going across that way, so it doesn't matter which slit. See how it's making that different design? Almost looks like a star now. You just keep going up and down and across, and when you think you're finished, then you can be finished with that design. And keep turning it. And when you feel you have enough of your design, then when you take it down to the bottom, then cut it off. Cut it off a little bit longer. And then you just kind of push it under. If you can get a loop, maybe take the tip of your scissors and just push it under the loop and bring it out. And then just kind of make a knot and pull it. Maybe you could do that twice. And that makes a knot on your string so it won't come undone. And I'll feed the tail back underneath. There's our first design. All right, and since I'm using 2 colors, I'm going to decide that I think I'll use the dark one in the center. So I'm going to make 2 that are the light color. So I'll do the next one. Again, start with your string on the bottom. See, on the smooth side. to take this one. This one you're going to cut, and it's going to be long enough like to make it into a necklace, so we'll just make sure it was that long. And then we're going to start feeding this through. This will be our center one, so we want if you wanted to, you could put some beads in the middle of this. That would have been nice. Look at that. And just kind of make it into your center. Okay. And you can just kind of put a knot. I think it's big enough for overhead. Or if you just want to tie it, you could do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed creating your necklace. If you made it and really didn't want to wear it, maybe you could give it as a gift. Maybe your mom would love it, or you could make several of them for presents, for birthday presents throughout the year or when the holidays come around. So remember that families always love to get things that are made from their children. So that would be a great idea to remember. So don't forget, with your milk jug, what else could you make with this? Is there anything else you could think you could do? With different holidays, there's always something you could do, especially Halloween. I think of this, and there a lot of times you might see this as a monster face or as little ghosts, and you could put like the little battery candles into them. So that maybe you could research and find some other things you could do with a milk jug or a water jug. Okay? All right, well, thanks for tuning in to us. And if you want to show us a picture of what you created, we'd love to see it, so send it our way. All right, we want to thank Prime Time of Palm Beach County and Children's Services Council who have brought this to you, and I hope you'll continue to use your creative imagination. Bye-bye, thank you.